Welcome to the Metals, Money, and Markets Weekly Update for March 10th, 2017, hosted by the Mercenary Geologist, Mickey Fulp, and for Mining Clips, I'm Rob Goodman. Mickey, pretty red week here on my board here for the metals. I see gold and silver down significantly, obviously the rest.
Well, everything was down, all the hard and soft commodities this week, and especially by midweek on. It was really driven by the extreme drop in oil. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But going on to gold, closed at 1204, down 2.5%. Silver down 5%, $17 even. Platinum lost 5.5% to close at 940, and palladium, which has been bucking the trend, was down 3.5% to 74.45. Meanwhile, copper was down 7 days in a row. The forward curve is flat out to 6 months now. And this is despite all the severe supply disruption. Another mine went out on strike this week, Cerro Verde. So 3 of the world's top 10 copper mines are idled right now. Copper did rally a penny today. It closed at $2.59, down 3.5% for the week.
Yeah, moving on to energy, talking about oil, like you said, pretty big down week for oil.
Well, it was, and that all started on Wednesday when U.S. inventories came out, another all-time record, about 528 million barrels. That's sent oil plummeting, and that was exacerbated yesterday and today. Oil closed at 48.43. That is a 4-month low. There was record long positions. Those are now being closed out as fast as they can, and that's going to lead some more downward pressure on oil. A bunch of things going on. U.S. production's now up to 9.1 million barrels a day. We already talked about inventories. Refinery runs, which really is mainly gasoline for the spring, is down almost 1 million barrels year over year. So the oil markets did not do well, and it took all the other markets down, with the exception of uranium, which closed up for the second week in a row. It's had a nice rebound since that Japanese selling came in. Closed at 25.63, up over 4%.
Moving on to the money side of this, currencies, looks like the dollar relatively flat.
Well, it kind of had a negative week, although it rallied on Wednesday, but came off again today. Basically flat for the week, 101.27. Lost 11 cents week over week. Euro closed at 107, which it's high for 6 weeks now, but that was relatively unchanged. The currency that we take an interest in, because this is very focused on the Canadian commodity and junior resource space, the loonie lost 0.6 of a point, closed at 0.743. I really think that had a lot to do with the oil price.
Sure, 5 weeks in a row off. Also, you've got a looming rate hike in the U.S., so that could have some pressure on things.
Well, that's true, and we certainly expect that rate hike to come in next week, with the FOMC meeting scheduled for March 14th, if memory serves.
Yeah, 93% they say is the possibility of hiking rates.
Yeah, well, who makes those numbers up?
Yeah, well, moving on to markets, the Dow, good jobs report by Trump. The party seemed to slow down a little bit, but still in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it was a very encouraging jobs report today, exceeded expectations a bit. The Dow was really in a blah week. All U.S. markets just kind of had an uninteresting week, but they were all positive today. So the Dow closed at 20,903, down about 0.5%. But realize these are not very far off all-time highs. Same with S&P 500, down 0.4 at 2373. NASDAQ 58.62, essentially flat on the week.
The venture is the one here, a little bleeding here, 3 weeks in a row off.
Yeah, and it's been quite the surprise. You know, I've been touting this post-PDA curse PDAC curse. Looks to me like we had a pre-PDAC curse. And I was wondering if that was front-running by pros of what they know often comes after the PDAC. But volumes have been relatively low. 2 days this past week, the lowest volumes of the year. The venture exchange did make a nice little rally today. Up almost 9-10 points today. Closed at 799. That's off 2.4%. We'll see what happens going forward, but that market went up pretty far, pretty fast. So maybe it's just a bit of correction. If I'm doing the math right now, it's been off about 5 to 6% since it reached its high 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, eight straight weeks black and 3 red.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly been streaky, no doubt about that.
Well, thanks for the analysis, Mickey, and we'll look forward to catching up with you next week.
All right. Thanks a lot, Rob. Look forward to it.